Speaking of things,
What is it?
are you not sure what we're doing?
Tell them what it's about.
It's going to be about some things.
Oh. Okay,
Okay, let's just roll the episode.
got it. So you can grow an ear. I saw it. You can grow a freaking ear.
You saw it with your own eyes?
I did. Yeah. And this ear that I saw growing, at first they grew it on like a mouse or a lab rat. They grew a freaking ear on the back. Right. I mean, are you the guy? You're not, because you're one of those two-eared people. But if you were a one-eared people,
Kids always called me two-eared.
there goes old two-ear. Look at him and his two ears prancing around the neighborhood.
I was never much of a prancer.
So imagine yourself, you're sitting at home wishing you had a second ear like all the other kids. And mom goes, "It's okay, Dave. They can grow an ear on a rat now." And you're like, "Oh, come on, Mom, don't tease me." And she's like, "Davey," I don't know why I said Davey. It just sounded like, when you were a kid. "Davey, don't judge the rat just because it has an ear growing on its back. I don't judge you for only having one ear, right?" And you're like, "Yeah, Mom. What if?" And then they're like, "What if we save up all of our money for the next 10 years and we buy you that ear and we get that ear surgically implanted on the side of your friggin' head, the one that doesn't have the ear?"
Have they figured out a way to make rats live 10 years?
Okay, so I maybe overstated that a bit. They save up for the next 6 months-ish or sooner, because the rat doesn't have a lot of time. You make a good point.
Yeah.
It's a very short lifespan. That ear has got to get on somebody quick.
Yeah.
Dave, we've been saving up for 6 months, and now we just looked on the television, because this was pre-internet, I'm assuming, and look at this. There's an ear on a rat, and that can be yours. Do you want that ear? And you're like, "Yeah, Mom, I want that ear." And then they go, "Here's the catch, though. It's a right ear, and you need a left ear." Now, keep in mind, this is your chance to get your second ear, because those freaking kids in the neighborhood, they are relentless on this one ear. There goes one ear, Dave. And you're sick of it, okay? You're at your wit's end with this. Fuck, one ear, Dave? Really? Watch this shit. Watch me.
So you're so that you get the ear put on upside down?
Look. You're getting caught up in the details. Your goal at the time, if you remember, you just wanted that. You just wanted a second.
Could you imagine?
You just wanted a second ear.
Can you imagine for a second being that kid who wants a second ear? Your parents save up for 6 months, like you said, for this money to get the ear. And the day before, you go into surgery to get this rat ear put on upside down. It finds a piece of cheese in a rat trap, smashes the ear.
Oh my God. That would suck. But what if they said that we can still salvage the ear? It's got a little scar, like right smack in the middle from that freaking trap. And you're like, you know what? I don't even want that shit upside down. I want that. Put it on backwards.
That would be, an interesting bar story, and like explaining to your friends how your ear got caught in a rat trap.
You have to understand, man. It was before I actually got the ear.
It came pre-installed. It's like when you buy, bruised fruit at the supermarket.
It's in the scratch and dent aisle.
It's perfectly fine. Just scratched up.
We can set you up with an ear. Now, here's the thing. We're running a special this week. It just so happened. Old Bobby over there, he left the traps out. Rats get loose. You know what happens to ears when the rats get loose? Now, this here ear, It's a good ear. Okay, it's got a couple marks on it. Just say you got some piercings or something. Okay, now it's gonna go backwards. Okay, because you need a left ear. And we've been focusing primarily on right ears. Your mama came here and said, my boy wants the ear. If you got right ears, I'll take out right ear. And if you got a scratch and dent ear, that's all I can afford right now. And you're like, Mama, I don't know why you went.
I don't know where you're from right now.
And you're like, Mama, I'll take that right ear. It's scarred all up. I'm gonna get one of them fancy piercings and everything. And if you put that sucker on backwards, you can hear when people are walking up on you.
Did you know?
Could be in the FBI. he hears backwards.
It'd be great if you're trying to play what was that Beatles album, Abbey Road, backwards. You could find out how John Lennon died.
Yes.
Or not John Lennon. Who's the one that's still alive?
Paul McCartney.
How Paul McCartney's actually dead.
Yes.
You could discover the secret.
You would hear that right there.
Speaking of things and speaking of rats, did you know the microwave was actually invented to bring rats or mice back to life?
That sounds like crap.
It is not crap.
I'm not buying it.
100%
what did you say?
True.
Microwaves.
Microwaves were actually invented to bring mice and rats back to life.
What internet do you have? That's the real question here.
I've just been trying to read all of it. This is true. I'm not making this up.
Okay, go ahead. You have the floor.
So back in the 1950s, I believe it was, 40s, 50s.
Yeah.
They were trying to find ways to bring mice, rats back to life. Ultimately, trying to scale up to humans. And they were trying all sorts of things with electricity.
They're trying to bring what back to life? Rats.
Yeah.
And then you said ultimately to scale up to humans.
Yeah.
That was the goal?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, go ahead.
Didn't work out.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. So maybe we should have prefaced with spoiler alert.
All right. So really, it wasn't about bringing rats to life. It was figuring out how to keep people alive longer or whatever. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Family youth.
And so they were using all sorts of electrodes and everything, hooking them up to mice, trying to bring them back.
That's going to work.
And very unsuccessfully, they would burn the mice and shoot holes in them and stuff.
As a former electrician, I could have told him something gets electrocuted and dies. So
yeah,
I feel like their starting point was a little off.
Yeah. So after many things, they create the Faraday cage.
Oh. I remember Faraday cage. I went down a YouTube rabbit hole with that. Okay.
This is about mice, not rabbits.
Got it.
And
okay,
so
Faraday cage. Got it.
Created the Faraday cage, which is basically become the modern day microwave. And so they're freezing the rats, and then they were using like electric and stuff to bring them back. Like, could you freeze them, and basically pause everything? And so they would freeze the rats, and the Faraday cage actually did bring the rats and mice back. Sometimes they would still have some issues, some burns and stuff, and ultimately proved that it was unsuccessful.
Mm-hmm.
But they determined that basically you could cook, the rat. And about 10 years later, I think it was Raytheon that realized that there was a commercial use for this. And that's how we got the modern day microwave.
Okay. I think a lot of inventions came about that way, right? I mean, you're trying to fix one thing and then you go, oh, this doesn't work.
Yeah.
But it could be used for something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And sorry, it wasn't they were bringing them back from the dead. They were freezing them to a state where
Right,
they were,
cryogenic.
where they were dead, and then trying to bring them back.
Dead because the heart stopped.
The heart stopped, and all of their systems had basically stopped. So
What about the brain function? I feel like the brain seems like an important part.
yeah, they were frozen.
Well, when the electric thawed them out, what happened to the brain?
Yeah, so that there were still problems, but the Faraday cage was the only way that worked. Like just sticking prongs in them and shooting electric into them and stuff was not working.
I mean, I could have told them that before they even started.
But they were able to slowly rewarm the body to bring them back. And I'm trying to remember. And the reason they wanted to do this was like for cold water injuries and things like that. When people fall into the water,
Yeah.
You hear now those stories where they fall in the water and they're dead for 2 or 3 hours and they come back. I think that's what they were trying to do, the scientists.
So then they created like a huge microwave to thaw people out.
Oh, they ultimately abandoned the project.
No, I have a microwave, so it wasn't abandoned, just for the record.
They abandoned the the unthawing of the frozen rats.
Frozen rats.
Yeah.
These were not the same ones with the ears, I'm assuming, because I feel like that would be problematic for the skin.
Yeah, I don't think it was the same ear rats. Yeah.
Because, God, the last thing I need is you to have a second right ear that's got the scar and then freezer burn all over it.
Yeah, this is basically a useless ear. Why even have another ear at that point?
Still an ear. Can't call you old one ear anymore, can they?
They can't. Can call you freezer burn ear.
Damn. Do you remember the first time you saw a microwave?
In my life?
Well, not my life. How about your life?
I imagine I was pretty young.
See, I guess I'm dating myself. I remember the first time I saw a microwave.
Oh, like the first time your parents bought one?
No, we didn't have one.
Oh.
I went over the aunt's house, right?
Oh.
She's like, look at this thing.
Yeah.
This thing cooks stuff. I was like, that don't make no sense because that's just the box hanging there.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, you think so? Watch this. What do you think the first food was that she showed me that she could cook in 1 minute?
Popcorn.
Boom. No. Hot dog.
Hot dog.
And you know what they say? They plump when you cook them.
Yeah.
That's the SK, right? Is that SK? I don't know. We're not sponsored.
Is SK even around anymore?
I have no idea. Well, this sucker plumped. She might have went a little too long. I don't know what the setting was. But guess who was impressed? This guy, the one you're looking at right here. Big time. I was like, Aunt, that's a cooked hot dog.
Did you eat it?
No.
Okay.
Because I didn't know what the hell was happening inside that box.
Yeah.
Seemed pretty sketchy to me. As a kid, this is, kids, children, if you're listening, do not do this.
I'm about to tell you a story about what you're going to say.
Do not do this. Did you put ants on a plate?
No.
And
I am not going to tell a story.
And neither did I. Okay? Neither did I.
You get shut down by PETA before our
I know.
third episode.
We did have every family, well, not every, some families have like the fancy plate, like, oh, look, it's Thanksgiving. Let's break out the fancy plate. We had the fancy plate that had a tiny little gold edge. God, it was a great fireworks show.
So that's what I was actually going to tell you about. A friend of mine not too long ago, 15 years ago. So by this point, microwaves have been around, I don't know, 50 years.
That's good math.
Had bought a microwave and she was going to put food in it and she didn't take the aluminum foil off. And there were a bunch of people over and we all were like, whoa, you got to take the aluminum foil off. And she was like, no, this microwave, you can put aluminum foil in it.
Not true.
And that's what we all said. She didn't believe us.
Mm-hmm.
So about 20 seconds into the warming of the food, yeah, it was a pretty good fireworks show, and she had to stop and admit she was wrong.
So
it's like, we told you.
How did she cover herself after she was proven wrong. Did she say, I've done this tons of times before. This is the first time this has ever happened?
No, she said that she thought she read in the instruction manual that this was an aluminum safe microwave.
Right. So your friend's illiterate.
No, I don't think so. Maybe just misremembered.
That seems like that's a big miss, though, isn't it? I mean, I feel like she had never experienced metal in there being problematic. Okay, I don't know how you escape that one. Give me a ballpark on age of not the microwave, the woman.
Oh, mid-20s.
Oh, sorry. You got to know that by your mid-20s.
Yeah,
there's just laws, right?
I guess probably. There's a lot of laws out there.
Yeah, I feel like you got to know metal and microwave, bad combo.
Yeah. So growing up, you must have been rich. You had plates made of gold.
Yeah. Okay. Again, I'm going to date myself, but there was a grocery store called Pantry Pride, and apparently you would buy stuff and they would give you like the little sticker stamp thingies, and you get enough of these little sticker stamp things, and then you get dishes at the end of it. Pretty good deal, huh?
I guess.
I don't understand the connection at all.
I guess if you want dishes.
That's how it happened, you know?
Yeah.
You buy enough groceries, they give you something that you can blow up in a microwave, which is not bad if you think about it.
It's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. I wonder what happened if you put a firework in the microwave.
I don't know. Well, you know what? It would eventually generate enough heat, right? It would have to stay in there long enough to get hot enough to get the combustion going, and then bye-bye microwave. Well, at least for cooking food anyway.
I don't know, because you can throw a bullet into the fire and nothing really happens. I mean, it explodes eventually, but it doesn't.
That is a something. That is not a nothing.
Yeah. You've never done that?
Throw a bullet in. You make it sound so common. You never had bubble gum? You never thrown a bullet in a fire? What is wrong with you?
You're going to see people freak out. Throw a bullet in the fire.
Yeah, that's a good reason to freak out, I think. But there's no, it's not really a projectile at that point, right? Well, it's
correct. There's no barrel to send it down.
Right. So it just
poof.
Poof, yeah. But is there shrapnel?
No. It's such a small explosion.
So you're recommending?
Oh, if you want to freak people out, definitely. So let me preface with, for legal reasons, do not
I would
try
never do
this at home.
I would let you do it.
I've done it.
Okay.
Yeah. But our viewers should not do it.
We're going to stick with that, huh? Our viewers.
Well,
I do like that, our podcast viewers.
Yeah. What would you call them?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
As we're casting this pod, we hope you are enjoying the view. Ooh, question. Have you ever started a fire with gasoline?
Oh, yeah. That's the only way to start. Again, for legal reasons, do not do this. I would not do.
This is a terrible idea. How did it go for you?
Yeah, it did not. Well, I definitely got rid of all the grass in that area of my yard.
Yeah.
And also, whatever, I think maybe I put some gasoline on the wood.
Yeah.
And then, being smart, thought that I would put a little bit of gasoline in a cup and throw the cup into the fire.
Oh my God.
Well, the gas, the fumes are heavier than the air.
Right.
And it made a giant plume.
Yes.
And came out probably about 2 feet.
Yes. Yeah.
But got the fire started. It was effective.
Yes. It is very good at starting fires.
Most arsonists will use gasoline. It is the preferred method of arson, I think.
So again, do not recommend it. This is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
It's not can you light gas on fire? Of course you can, but it's the fume. It's the fume, right? So was I drinking beverages that had alcohol in them? Yes. Was it a nice hot summer day? Yes. Were people over at the house, and was I preparing a bonfire in the quickest fashion possible? Yeah.
Sounds like you don't even need me on this podcast. You're doing all the questions and answers.
I was trying to illustrate if I knew what I was doing. Yeah, I knew what I was doing. I just didn't expect to lose all of my arm hair that day.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
But I did. So I poured the gasoline. Was I not working at an optimal speed due to the alcohol consumption that day and maybe even the heat? Maybe the heat was causing me to go a little bit slower. It's possible fumes built up around said bonfire area.
Yeah.
It goes up quick.
Oh, yeah.
It made a sound. Let me tell you what the sound was. And you could hear it way, way far away because the people that were nowhere near me making a fire knew I was making a fire because they saw it. And then what they saw after that was me running as fast as I could towards the pool, which I just jumped in the pool because I thought I was on fire.
Wow.
And the good news, wasn't on fire. Did I have arm hair left? None. Zero.
Huh.
It stinks.
Oh, and you burn your hair?
Yeah. Even the arm hairs. Yeah. Kids, don't do that.
So you got rid of your arm hair, but kept your leg hair.
Yeah, because I at that time in my life, I was using my arms to start fires.
And what do you use now to start fires?
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Let it go. This is too dangerous. Move on.
Yeah.
Speaking of things, this episode was brought to you by our sponsors who sponsored this episode. On the next episode of Speaking of Things.
Well, I think I've had one good experience there, and I actually told the lady, like, in my 20-some years coming to the NVA, you're the nicest person who's ever helped me.
She tell you to go to hell.
So
I was like, well, that's par for the course.
Speaking of Things is unscripted and recorded under the influence of beer-flavored alcohol. Special thanks to our producers for the production of each episode, our fact-checkers for keeping us mostly informed, our legal team for doing all work pro bono, and allowing us to claim we have a legal team to scare off liability. Speaking of Things would not be possible without the invention of the radio, which laid the groundwork for pod creators like us.
And you're like, Mama, I don't know why you went.
I don't know where you're from right now.
And you're like, Mama, I'll take that right here.